I married my best friend's ex, and we've been together for 3 years, but I just found messages that suggest they never actually broke up. Do I confront him? Do I tell her? Am I losing my mind? Or have I been the other woman in my own marriage this entire time? Subreddit r/relationships. I, 28F, don't even know how to start this. I'm sitting in a hotel room right now because I can't be in my house, I can't look at my husband, and I definitely can't talk to my best friend. I feel like my entire life has been a lie, and I need to know if I'm crazy or if this is as bad as I think it is. I'm using a throwaway because people know my main account, and I don't even have words for what this is. Background. I met my best friend, Sophie, when we were freshmen in college, so about 10 years ago. We were roommates, and we became inseparable almost immediately. You know how some friendships just click? That was us. We told each other everything, finished each other's sentences, had our whole lives planned out together. She was going to be the maid of honor at my wedding, I was going to be the godmother to her kids, all of it. In our junior year, Sophie started dating this guy Matt, now 30M. Matt was perfect, honestly. He was charming, smart, funny, ambitious. He was getting his MBA while working part-time at a consulting firm. Sophie was absolutely head over heels in love with him. She talked about him constantly. She showed me the texts where he'd send her good morning messages and random "I love you" notes throughout the day. She showed me the gifts he'd give her, the dates he'd plan. I was genuinely happy for her because she deserved someone amazing, and Matt seemed like that guy. I met Matt a few times during their relationship. He was always friendly, but nothing inappropriate. Just a nice guy who loved my best friend. They dated for about 2 years through the rest of college, and a bit after. Then came the breakup. It was the summer after graduation about 5 years ago. Sophie called me at 2 a.m., absolutely hysterical. She told me Matt had ended things. According to her, he said he needed to focus on his career, that he was moving to a different city for a job opportunity, and that long distance wouldn't work for them. She was devastated. I spent weeks helping her through it. Ice cream, wine, terrible movies, the whole breakup recovery protocol. She grieved that relationship for months. I watched her cry herself to sleep. I held her while she looked at old photos and wondered what she could have done differently. I listened to her say over and over that Matt was the one that got away, that she'd never love anyone like that again. Eventually, she started to heal. She dated other people. She seemed to be moving on, even if she'd sometimes get wistful when Matt came up in conversation. Enter my relationship with Matt. Fast forward to about 4 years ago. I ran into Matt at a coffee shop in our city. Turns out he hadn't actually moved away for that job. Something had fallen through with the position, and he'd stayed local. We chatted for a bit, just friendly catching up. He asked about Sophie, and I told him she was doing well. He seemed genuinely glad to hear it. Then he asked if he could get my number to meet up for coffee sometime as friends. I hesitated, but I figured enough time had passed. I asked him, point blank, "Are you over Sophie? Because she's my best friend, and I'm not interested in getting in the middle of anything." He assured me they were completely done, that he'd moved on, that he actually wanted to talk to me because he'd always thought I was interesting and wanted to get to know me better outside of the context of Sophie's boyfriend. I told Sophie about it. I was completely transparent. I said, "Matt asked for my number. He wants to get coffee. Is that weird? Are you okay with that?" And she said, "I remember this conversation so clearly. We're over. It's been a year. You should go if you want to. I don't own him." So, I went to coffee with Matt. And then we went to coffee again. And then to dinner. And somewhere along the way, I fell for him. I kept Sophie updated every step of the way. When Matt and I started dating officially, I asked her permission. She said she was happy for me, that she wanted us both to be happy, and that she'd moved on. She even said it was kind of nice that 2 people she cared about had found each other. Looking back, I wonder if she had a choice. Like, what was she supposed to say? "No, you can't date my ex?" That would have made her look possessive and petty. But I took her at her word because she was my best friend, and I trusted her. Matt and I dated for a year before he proposed. Sophie was right there through all of it. She helped me pick out my wedding dress. She threw me a bridal shower. She gave a beautiful maid of honor speech about how she'd always known I'd find someone special and how she was so happy to see me with someone who treated me right. We got married 3 years ago. Sophie was standing right next to me. The wedding photos are beautiful, me, Matt, and Sophie all smiling like everything was perfect. And I thought it was. I really, truly thought it was. The discovery. Last week, Matt left his iPad at home when he went to work. This isn't unusual. He usually takes his laptop and his phone. But his iPad syncs with his phone for messages, and I never thought anything of it before, because why would I? I wasn't snooping.
I need to be clear about that.
I was cleaning the kitchen counter, and his iPad was there. A message notification popped up on the screen. Just a preview, but it was from Sophie. The preview said, "I miss you. Last night was..." And then it cut off because that's all that fits in a notification. My heart stopped. Last night? Matt had said he was at a work dinner last night. He'd come home at 11 p.m. What did she mean, last night? I told myself I was overreacting. Maybe she meant she missed hanging out with both of us. Maybe last night referred to something from a while ago and the message was just delayed. I was grasping at straws and I knew it, but I couldn't stop myself. I unlocked the iPad. I know the passcode. We've never hidden that from each other. And I opened the messages with Sophie. I wish I hadn't. I wish I could go back to an hour before and just never look. But I did, and now I can't unknow what I know. What I found. The messages went back years.
Years.
Not just recent messages, but conversations spanning our entire relationship and marriage. I started scrolling, my hands shaking, and the further back I went, the worse it got. From 3 months ago, Sophie. I hate that we have to pretend. I just want to be with you normally. Matt. I know, baby.
Soon.
I promise we'll figure something out. From 6 months ago, Matt. Tonight was perfect. I love falling asleep next to you. Sophie. I love you. I hate that you have to leave and go home to her. From a year ago, Sophie. Do you think you'll ever actually leave her? Matt. It's complicated. You know I love you, but the timing has to be right. From 2 years ago, a few months after our wedding, Matt. The wedding was hard. I wanted to be standing up there with you, not her. Sophie. I know.
But this is the plan.
We agreed to wait. And then I found messages from before we even got together. From when Sophie and Matt were supposedly broken up. From 5 years ago, about 2 weeks after Sophie called me crying about their breakup. Matt. How much longer do we have to keep this up? Sophie. I don't know.
She's so sad for me.
I feel terrible lying to her, but we talked about this. We need to make it look convincing. Matt. I know. I just miss you. I hate pretending we're not together. Sophie. Me too. But think about the long game. Besides, you said she's not really your type anyway. I had to run to the bathroom to throw up. They had faked their breakup. The whole thing was staged. Sophie's tears, her heartbreak, the months of healing. It was all an act.
But why?
That's what I couldn't understand. I kept scrolling, looking for an explanation. I found it in messages from about 6 years ago, before their supposed breakup. Sophie. Did you see her trust fund payout schedule? She showed me the paperwork. It's $2 million when she turns 25, then another $3 million when she gets married. Matt. Jesus. That's insane. Sophie. Right? And she has no idea how to manage money. She's so naive about this stuff. Matt. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Sophie. I don't know if we could pull it off. Matt. But if we did, that's life-changing money. Sophie. We'd have to be so careful. She can't ever know. I need to explain something here. My grandfather was wealthy. He made a fortune in manufacturing and set up trust funds for all his grandchildren. I've always been weird about it because I didn't earn that money, and I've seen how wealth can make people act differently around you.
So, I didn't tell a lot of people.
But I told Sophie because she was my best friend, and I trusted her with everything. The plan, as far as I could piece together from the messages, was this. Matt and Sophie fake a breakup. Matt coincidentally runs into me and starts dating me. We get married, and I get the marriage payout for my trust. $3 million. Matt and I would stay married for a while. They mentioned at least a few years to avoid suspicion. Matt would eventually divorce me, getting half the assets. Matt and Sophie split the money and end up together. They'd been planning this for years. Before Matt and I even got together, they had mapped out how to use me for my money. Every moment of my relationship with Matt was a lie. Every "I love you," every anniversary, every time he held me and told me I was his everything, it was all just part of the long con. And Sophie, my best friend, the person I trusted more than anyone in the world. She'd help me pick out my wedding dress, knowing she was planning to take my husband and my money. She'd stood next to me at my wedding and smiled for pictures while plotting to destroy my life. I kept reading, even though every message felt like a knife. There were messages about them sleeping together, constantly. While Matt was lying next to me in our bed, he was texting Sophie about how much he missed her body. There were messages about their dates. They'd go out to restaurants in the next city, over where no one would recognize them. There were messages about vacations they'd take together once this was all over. There were messages about me. Sophie. She's so trusting it's almost sad. Matt. I know. Sometimes I feel bad. Sophie, don't. She'll be fine. People like her always land on their feet. Rich girl problems. Matt. True. And she's boring in bed anyway, lol. Sophie. TMI, but also good to know I'm better. Faced with tears of joy.
They laughed about me.
They mocked me. I was a joke to them, just a walking ATM who was too stupid to realize she was being played. Recent developments. The most recent messages were from the last few weeks, and they were talking about accelerating the timeline. Matt. I think we're getting close. The 3-year mark is in a few months. That feels like enough time that a divorce won't look suspicious. Sophie. What are you going to tell her? Matt. I've been thinking about that. Maybe that I'm not happy, that we grew apart, the usual stuff. I'll be the bad guy. You can comfort her after. Sophie. This is so fucked up. But we're so close. Just a few more months. Matt. Then we're free. We can finally be together for real. Sophie. I can't wait to not have to share you anymore. They were planning to end it soon. Matt was going to divorce me, take half of everything, and ride off into the sunset with Sophie. Except I found out first. What I've done so far. I took photos of everything. Every message, every conversation. I went back 5 years and photographed it all. It took me 3 hours, and my hands were shaking the whole time, but I have everything backed up now. Then I called my lawyer, not our family lawyer, a different one that Matt doesn't know about. I explained the situation, or tried to, through tears. She told me to get out of the house immediately and not to confront Matt until we'd talked strategy. She's reviewing everything and will call me tomorrow. I packed a bag and checked into a hotel. I told Matt I had to go on an emergency business trip. He seemed relieved, actually, which now makes me sick to my stomach. He probably texted Sophie the second I left to come over. I don't know what to do. I'm so angry I can barely think straight. I trusted these people with everything. Everything. And they betrayed me in the worst possible way. My questions. Do I confront them? Part of me wants to see their faces when they realize I know. But my lawyer said confrontation might not be strategically smart. What about the divorce? My lawyer mentioned something about fraud and how that might affect asset division. Can I really keep him from getting anything if I can prove he married me under false pretenses? Do I tell anyone else? Our families? Mutual friends? Part of me wants to expose them to everyone we know, but another part of me is so humiliated that I just want to disappear. How do I even begin to process this emotionally? My husband doesn't love me. He never did. My best friend has been lying to my face for 5 years. Every memory I have is tainted now. Every happy moment was fake. Am I partially to blame for being so naive? Should I have seen the signs? Were there signs? I keep replaying every moment of the last 4 years, looking for clues I missed. Were there times they exchanged looks I didn't catch? Times their stories didn't quite line up? How did they pull this off for so long without me noticing anything? the part that hurts most. It's not even the money, honestly. Yes, they were trying to steal from me, and that's awful. But the part that's destroying me is that I loved him. I loved Matt with everything I had. I imagined growing old with him, having children with him, building a life together. Every plan I made for the future included him. And Sophie, she was supposed to be my person. My forever friend. I would have taken a bullet for her. I trusted her with my deepest secrets, my fears, my dreams. She knew everything about me, and she used all of it against me. I feel so stupid. So incredibly, unbelievably stupid. How did I not see this? How was I so blind? There's a part of me that keeps hoping this is a nightmare and I'll wake up. That I'll go home and find out I misread the messages or there's some explanation. But I know that's not true. I saw what I saw. An update I just discovered. While I was writing this post, I decided to check if there were any other places they might have been communicating. I logged into Matt's email. Yes, I know his passwords. We set them up together when we got married, and he never changed them. I found emails to a realtor. Matt has been looking at apartments. 2-bedroom apartments, specifically. The emails are from 2 weeks ago, and he's scheduled viewings for next month. He was already planning his exit. He was going to leave me, probably sometime in the next few months, and I would have never known why. I would have thought I'd failed somehow, that I wasn't good enough, that something was wrong with me. At least now I know the truth, even if the truth is devastating. What happens next? My lawyer is calling me tomorrow morning. She mentioned that fraud in the inducement of marriage is grounds for annulment in our state, which would mean the marriage was never legally valid. That might protect my assets better than a divorce would. She also mentioned that if we can prove they planned this from the beginning, which we can thanks to the messages, there might be criminal fraud charges possible, though she needs to research that more. I'm going to let her guide me on the legal strategy. But emotionally, I don't know how I'm going to survive this. I have no one to talk to. Sophie was my person, the one I'd call in a crisis. Obviously, that's not an option. My other friends are mostly mutual friends with Sophie, and I don't know who I can trust. My family will be supportive, but they're also going to be hurt and angry on my behalf, and I don't know if I can handle their emotions on top of my own right now. So I'm here, in a hotel room, writing this all out to strangers on the internet because I have nowhere else to put this pain. To anyone who's read this far, thank you for listening. I know this is long and rambling, but I needed to get it all out. If you have any advice, legal, practical, emotional, I'll take it. If you've been through anything similar, I'd love to hear how you got through it. And if you're thinking about trusting someone completely, maybe keep a little piece of yourself protected. I wish I had. I'll update this when I know more about what happens legally. For now, I'm just trying to get through tonight without completely falling apart. TLDR, I married my best friend's ex-boyfriend 3 years ago with her blessing. Just discovered they faked their breakup and have been together this whole time. They planned from the beginning to marry me for my trust fund money, then divorce me and split the assets. I have proof of everything. Meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. My entire life is a lie. Edit 1. I've been reading the comments, and thank you all so much for the support. Several people asked if Matt and Sophie know I found out yet. They don't. Matt thinks I'm on a business trip. I haven't contacted Sophie at all. My lawyer strongly advised against tipping them off before we have a strategy in place. Edit 2 for those asking about prenup. We didn't have one. Matt said he thought prenups were unromantic and that he'd never divorce me, so we didn't need one. Now I know why he opposed it. My lawyer says this might actually work in my favor since we can prove fraud. Edit 3. People are asking what I'm going to do about telling our families and friends. Honestly, I don't know yet. Part of me wants to expose them to everyone immediately. But my lawyer suggested waiting until after we've secured my assets and filed whatever legal actions we're going to take. She's worried they might try to hide money or assets if they know I'm onto them. Edit 4. Someone asked if I'm going to give Matt a chance to explain. No. There's no explanation that makes this okay. I have literal years of messages where they discuss their plan to defraud me. This isn't a misunderstanding. Edit 5. To the person who DM'd me calling this fake because no one is this naive, I hope you never experience the betrayal of people you completely trust. It's easy to say you'd see the signs when you're not living it. When you love someone and trust them completely, you're not looking for evidence of deception. I believed them because I had no reason not to.